Welcome to the Noble Gold Investments Inflation Series. We're on the third part. We discuss what inflation is and what causes it. Now let's discuss how it is computed. There are two ways: the Consumer Price Index, or the CPI, and the Wholesale Price Index, or the WPI. First, the CPI. This is meant for primary consumer needs. They decide on a basket of goods, which includes transportation, food, medical care, and others. They measure the change in price of each item over a period of time. They average them based on their relative weight in the whole basket. The prices in consideration are the retail price of each item as available for purchase by the individual citizens. The difference between the prices would then be translated into a percentage, and that will be the CPI. Let us assume we take transportation costs, a sack of potatoes, a gallon of milk, and medical care costs, and it totals $1,000 in February 2021. By 2022, let's say it costs $1,100. This means the CPI would have increased by 10%. In the US, the Bureau of Labor Statistics reports the CPI on a monthly basis and is calculated as far back as 1913. Because it deals with consumer goods, this is more frequently reported than the WPI. Now let's discuss the WPI. The WPI measures and tracks the changes in the prices of raw goods. Let's take bread as an example. Bread is made of flour, salt, yeast, and sugar. The WPI would measure the cost of those ingredients, not the cost of the bread. The US doesn't use a WPI, we use the Producer Price Index, or the PPI. PPI measures the price of goods sold by producers to the first buyer, wholesalers. Meanwhile, the WPI measures the price of goods sold by the first wholesalers to the next smaller wholesalers, or the retailers. What you need to remember is that it is possible that the rise in the price of one component, say oil, cancels out the price decline in another to a certain extent. Let's take bread as an example. Price of flour may increase by $1, but the price of sugar decreases by $1, then inflation is zero. Now, to compute inflation, take the final CPI value, divide it by the initial CPI value, and then multiply it by 100. Say you wish to know how much purchasing power of $100,000 changed from February 2021 to February 2022. Find different goods that amounted to $100,000 back in 2021, the price of the same goods in 2022. And that's how you have it. That's how you compute inflation. We're not done yet. In the next video, let's talk about the CPI computation and how it's changed and what it is and why it will continue to change in the future.